My name is Jonathan Foster, and I go to Western Oregon University. I actually just graduated, and that's going to be finalized at the end of the summer term right now. I've mostly just been handling the paperwork for the 2019-2020 academic year. It's a business major.
My name is Luis Silvera. I go to Western Oregon University, and I'm an upcoming senior majoring in computer science and minoring in business.
It all started when we were all in the same class with Kate Schwarzler a couple of terms ago. And it was a product development class, and so we were tasked with the task of coming up with something new, and it could really be just about anything. Tried to keep it simple, something that was attainable.
So I came to join the team through a class. It was a product development class, and I met a group of guys, and we just thought of this idea to just not reinvent the wheel, but just kind of add on to it. So in this case, it was just a light bulb, and it was something so simple, something that shouldn't take 2 minutes to screw in, but just take 2 seconds to pop out and pop right back in.
Communication is the biggest challenge, really. Like, once we get together and start working, I think our team has done some pretty great things, and even a really short period of time many times. Sometimes deadlines have come a little closer than we've wanted, but once we were actually able to meet, we were able to make just leaps and bounds of progress. But just keeping that communication up with the and balancing schedules and things during the summer term, especially the restrictions that are imposed due to COVID-19, also work schedules during the summer. It's been really hard to just stay in contact and communicate clearly who's doing what.
Another challenge is it's like a lot of the manufacturers right now are kind of closing down. So it's kind of like trying to find, I know that during the process, we were trying to find a manufacturer that built a certain part and we couldn't find it. I think a lot of that had to do with the pandemic, and it just made it hard to find all these parts.
As far as new skills that I hadn't really been introduced to before was just like how to set up and operate a 3D printer. That was actually pretty interesting, getting to learn about that. And I'm in the process of now using that information to set up a 3D printer myself.
One of the skills I acquired during Invent Oregon was just like build things. One thing was like 3D modeling. I haven't been too good at it, but just building light fixtures on it has kind of like brought like a new perspective of how to just use that. The application I use right now is Rhino. It's called 3D Rhino, and yeah, just kind of getting used to that and just building that new skill.
ClickBulb, in essence, is just a normal light bulb that does the exact same thing a normal light bulb would. So it solves the same problem in the regular world that a normal light bulb would. But the difference is when it burns out and it comes time to replace it, it removes a lot of the difficulty in replacing it because it no longer needs to be screwed in or and have the old one screwed out. In order to do so, you just pull off the old one, click on the new one. So it uses magnets rather than the screwing technology in order to hold the bulb in place.
ClickBulb is it's just a light bulb, just like a regular light bulb, but this light bulb will have magnets on the end, and instead of like wired terminals, it'll be terminals that just connect to one another. So as soon as they come in contact, it just lights up. It's a very simple. Uh, Surprisingly, it hasn't really been implemented yet because all the light bulbs I still see are very just screw in, very typical. I mean, I grew up with the same light bulbs that I still use today. Like since I was a little kid, I'm surprised they haven't been changed.
I like to think about it like a lot of the other things you might not even notice in your everyday life that we've just grown accustomed to, a lot of these conveniences. Like when I go to throw trash away in my trash can, there's a little foot pedal. It wasn't really that difficult to just lift the lid, yet it's still a little better to have a foot pedal, you know what I mean? Like we get used to these things. It's really not hard to unlock your car with the key, but now we have a key fob and it makes it even easier. So a lot of times when you live in the world and you think to yourself, I don't think it's that difficult to unlock with the key, but you don't realize like how it could just be even a little more convenient, a little better if you had one with the key fob, you know what I mean? So we've just been, as a society, slowly progressing towards more and more convenience. No longer having to manually roll up and down the window in the car. You can use a lever, or I mean a switch now, right? And I mean, a lot of these cars, even today, you can just speak to them. So we're just continually progressing farther and farther towards automated and convenient society. So I think it just fits with that. For the most part, I think most people, once they get used to just replacing the light bulb that way, they won't even realize uh, the difficulties that they had before. It won't be that impactful, but they would rather have it than not. You know what I mean? It'll be more like the small bit of convenience that I get to use a remote to turn on my TV rather than having to get off the couch to hit the button. So it's very minor, but it's something that you just begin to have in everyday life. But there's also the added benefit that I think in some places, such as retirement communities and things, it actually might give people some of their like their freedom back, where they might have been too dangerous to climb up on a ladder or something before in order to get up there to unscrew the light bulb. So there are certain communities where people might be limited in what they can do physically, in which this would be a simple enough task that we could actually give them some of that freedom back to be able to change their own light bulbs and simple things like that.